My name's Ilana. If we haven't met before, if you haven't hung out with me on a Monday morning or taken a replay or taken a live class here on campus, which is where I'm at this morning. And I'm delighted to be offering a gentle Kripalu yoga practice for us this morning. We've got an hour together. So we'll spend just a few moments arriving, centering, locating, stilling, quieting, breathing. We'll warm up the body. We'll move through some shapes, some flows. We'll cool it down. We'll rest. I sometimes especially in a morning practice, like to end my practice in a seated meditation as opposed to a Shavasana pose, corpse pose. When we get to that stage in practice, you're welcome to let your body find its chosen shape of stillness and integration. And you're welcome to modify and adjust throughout this practice. Take care of yourself, be safe, have fun. So let your body find a comfortable seat. You might already be there, but you might need to or want to take a subtle or significant shift. And as we settle into a moment of stillness, before you do that, let body make some human movements, whatever it wants to do, a stretch, a wiggle, a shake. So much more to come, but in this moment, what needs to get out of the way so you can find relative stillness in a comfortable seat. Any props below you that would serve. Let the eyes heavy or shutter. Let the body soften and let the breath fill you. As you heavy through your base and lengthen through your spine, imagine there's a wall behind you and lean ever so gently back. So you feel the back of your skull press into invisible support as the heart and chest open. Option to bring hands to the ribs. So it could be right hand to right rib, left to left, or maybe both hands want to find one side of rib cage so that you begin to feel the ribs inviting in the breath and releasing, squeezing the breath out for a few moments, breathing to and from the place of rib cage. Shoulders soft. Feeling the union of the body. As you inhale, the diaphragm lowers, the pelvic floor releases and lowers together like a piston. And as you exhale, diaphragm rises, pelvic floor lifts, breath expels out. 2 more cycles of breath, creating synergy in the body. Connected movement. If the hands are on the ribs, let them float down. See if you want to switch anything in your seat, or are you good as you are? As right arm sweeps up to the sky, reaches overhead, stretch long. Maybe a few little snaps, crackles, and pops already. Pulse yourself up to the sky and then arc to the other side. Exhale. Breathe in to rise. And breathe out to stretch long. Go side to side a few more times. Any of these movements throughout practice, you choose your pace. Slower is going to be a little more calming. Faster is more energizing. It's up to you, moment to moment. And when you feel like you've had enough of the side bending, the lateral stretch, let hands rest on body, sit up tall. Notice echo of just one little movement. Breathe in. As you breathe out, begin to circle your torso around your stable base. soft through elbows and shoulders, head and neck. Find your pace. Feel the swirl. And then reverse direction. Notice like, oh yeah, I have a habitual pattern. I always do this one first. Is that true? You might notice. Begin to circle yourself back up tall, all the way back up to a tall seat. Gentle hug of navel to spine. One breath in to feel the ribs flare from the inside out. And exhale, release. Breathing in, sweep arms out to the sides, up and overhead, spread fingers, gather up. Exhale, begin to twist to the right, let the arms float down. Hand lands on body, hand lands on ground behind you or prop or low back. Shoulders are soft. Inhale, find length in spine. Exhale, twist a little deeper. One more breath in. And twist on the breath out. Unwind all the way back to center. Reach two arms up and overhead. Pinky spin towards each other. Fingers bright to the sky. Exhale, twist to the other side and let yourself land in stillness. To notice the long breath in. The breath out to gaze a little deeper over the back shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale to ring out. Inhale, rise to center. Two arms reach up and overhead. Palms connect. Elbows bend and the thumbs unfurl open as the hands rest to the place of the heart, finding Adhara Mudra. Fingertips and wrists connected, thumbs open. A gesture to receive. Receive presence. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, let yourself unfurl the legs if they were underneath you. So the knees are bent, soles of the feet are on the earth. Knees bent, soles of feet on earth. Hands behind you. Press into feet and hands, lift heart and chest, squeeze shoulder blades. Find length in spine. Give a little release of the toes. They were gripping, do a little wiggle, wiggle toes. Inhale. Exhale, drop knees to the right. Look over the left shoulder. Inhale, rise to center. Exhale, twist other side. And continue 2 more times each side. Moving with breath, moving with grace. Moving with, from, and to a place of presence. Coming back up to center, hands about mats with distance, feet about hips with distance. Option to stay here lifting heart or press into feet and hands and lift hips. Take a little sway of body. You might hinge front and back, giving some stretch through the ankles. Body might make little circles, strong in the feet, strong in the hands. A slight tuck of chin to chest. If you've found a pattern, find a new one. You might give yourself a little self-massage of the shoulder blades here as you rock side to side. And then slide the hips back between the hands, straighten out the legs. Sitting yourself down, flex through the feet, sweep the arms out and up, little bend in the knees. Hinge at the hips, reach the arms forward, slide the hands up the fronts of the legs and back up to a tall seat, arms rise. Exhale, hinge and reach. Do that 2 more times. Slide hands up the fronts of the legs. Gather and lift. Exhale and fold. One more time, and this last time, invitation to stay in your forward fold. If you have a strap, And that would be nice to loop around the soles of the feet. You're welcome to do that. Without the strap, hands can find anywhere. Maybe the forearms rest on the thighs. Maybe the hands are reaching to the ankles or the shins. Maybe they find the toes. Gentle aliveness through the legs. So you're not over efforting the legs, but there's some work in the legs. Hinging at the hips. Folding in on yourself any amount. A moment of introspection, a moment of forward fold. If you haven't already, for these last few moments, you might let the shoulders round and let the head go. Bringing in a little more softness and ease. Feel a breath in. Watch the breath out. Re-lengthen spine, unhinge at hips, walk hands back towards the hips, bend knees, windshield wipe once or twice. And then let both knees fall to the right, setting yourself up in a little pinwheel shape. So both knees are to the right, and the right foot, sole of foot, is somewhere along the left leg or thigh. And take a little lift and lower of the hips so you find a place that's comfortable in this pinwheel-like shape. Spin your hands and your torso to frame your right knee. Lift heart and chest, arch back. Notice the left hip lightly lifting up. Exhale, round chin to chest. Feel the left hip lower down. The right knee might lift just a tad. And move through this little flow a few times. Hip and knee lifting and lowering, back, spine flexing and extending. Bringing softness to the pelvis. And then find stillness. Find a place that feels balanced and center. Bring your left hand to your right knee. Gently contract your left glute. Option to lift the right arm up and overhead, adding in a twist variation long through the neck and spine. Might give the head and neck a little nod to release anywhere that's holding. Brighten the fingertips in the sky. Let the right shoulder fall into its socket. Keep a gentle contraction of the left glute. Take breath in. Unwind your twist. Bring your hands behind you. Unfurl the legs. Option to do a little windshield wipe. Option to lift up into a reverse table again and take some wiggles. Allow bodies knowing of what will feel balancing. Before landing in your pinwheel shape with your both knees to the left sole of the foot somewhere comfortable between the right knee and hip. Spin yourself to frame your left leg. Notice the right hip lifting a bit, the left knee pressing down as you arch the back and look up. Exhale, round as the back hip lowers, the front knee might lift. And move a few times through bringing ease and space to the pelvis. Pelvis, that big, strong and stable part of your body, made of three main bones. We might call it the hip, but the hip is just one piece of the pelvis. Getting some softness. Eventually, you'll land in what feels like a centered, stable, neutral spot. Option to bring right hand to left knee, gently contracting right glute as left arm lifts up and over. Nodding through head and neck. Soft through left shoulder. Feel the traction of the hand to the knee. Can you feel the whole length of the arm from the hand on the knee all the way up to the soft shoulder blade? Bring attention for this last moment back to the right glute, gentle contraction. Breathing in. And breathing out to unwind and untwist. See what body wants to undo, and we'll meet for a few moments lying on the back. So take your time getting there. Do anything the body needs along the way. And as you lie down, curl yourself into a teeny tiny seat, a little squeeze of knees to chest, option to lift shoulders and crown up. Point toes, little seed, little ball. Notice stillness. And then lower yourself all the way down. Stretch the legs, stretch the arms. Point the toes, reach the fingertips. Walk your feet over to the right. Walk your hands over to the right. Keep the left hip and the left shoulder heavy. You might grab opposite elbows overhead. Or you might grab left wrist and pull yourself a little deeper. You might cross left ankle over right. Breathing and side stretch. When you're ready, come back to center. Walk yourself over to the left. Feet and hands, you could switch the clasp of the elbows. You could cross the right ankle over the left. You could grab the right wrist. Keep a heaviness through the right hip and right shoulder, so you're not rolling onto the left side. You're stretching through the right side waist. Come back to center. Bend the knees. Let your hands come down by your sides, palms down. Press into feet, hands, and shoulders. Lift the hips on an exhale. Lower on an inhale. That might take a few cycles of breath to get that rhythm down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 2 more times. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Last time. When the hips lower this time, let the arms reach up to the sky. So fingertips are bright to the sky, shoulders are heavying into the earth below. Bend the elbows so you clasp opposite elbows, making a little window up above you. So you see this little window between the arms? As the knees fall to the right, let the window go to the left, the head and gaze stay towards center. Knees right, elbows left, head center. Bring everything back to center. Exhale, knees to the left, elbows to the right, gaze stays up at the sky. Inhale everything back to center. We're going to play with different variations of this. Knees to the right, elbows to the left, gaze to the left, neck to the left. So upper body to one side, knees to the other. Rise to center. Take knees to the left, everything in the upper body to the right. Rise to center. All right, mixing it up again. Knees to the right, elbows to the left, gaze to the right. So knees and head to one side, elbows to the other. Rise to center. Knees and gaze to the left, elbows to the right. Rise to center. And then find your own play and rhythm for a few breaths. See which of those or any other combination is right. You might also switch the clasp of the elbows. So you just do a little crisscross of which elbow is on top or which wrist is on top. Again, getting space and ease in the pelvis. moving in synergy, the body moving, even as things go different ways, moving as one unit. And when you feel done, come back to center. Let the arms come down by your sides, lift the legs up to the sky. Circle the ankles, point and flex the toes. Bend and straighten the knees a few times. And then we'll land for a few breaths in Viparita Karani, or legs up the wall, even in the middle of the room. Don't even need a wall. Find the place where there's so little effort in the legs. You're just balancing. Legs are just perching over the body. Option to reach arms to the sky. So arms and toes are lifting bright to the sky, hips and shoulders heavy into the earth. Ankles and wrists, toes and fingers are soft and released. You just might have an impulse or desire to shake legs and or arms. Shake, shake, shake. Maybe you want to shake the jaw. Maybe a sound wants to come out. Maybe the hips get a little wiggle. Maybe you shake a little longer than your body actually wants to shake. You keep going even when there's the slightest impulse to stop. You continue, you continue, you continue. And then eventually you stop. You keep the legs and arms up and feel. Is there an echo, a tingle, an aliveness? A release. Breathe in. And breathe out to lengthen the legs back down, but hug the right knee into the chest. Let the left leg find its way to the earth. Squeeze right thigh to abdomen. Half wind relieving. Find any little or big rocks or sways or circles of knee. For a moment, giving some love to the part of the pelvis that is the hip, right? We might think of the pelvis as the hips, but the hip joint is one piece of this puzzle. So you're rolling, using the strength of your arms, roll the knee around in circles to roll the hip joint around, the head of the femur, the top of the thigh bone, a ball in the socket of the hip joint called the acetabulum. And you feel this rolling around of the top of the femur in the hip joint, going both directions. Bringing some fluidity to the hip joint for one more cycle of breath in and out. Before letting the right sole of the foot find the left thigh, let the right knee open up into a reclined tree pose. You could put something underneath the right thigh or knee if hanging out in space doesn't feel welcome. You can reach the arms overhead and point the toes and add in body stretch. It's like, imagine if you had flipped yourself upright, you'd be in tree pose. Right knee open, left hip heavy. Breath in. And a breath out to re-lengthen both legs. Give body a moment of release. Anything that's desired. Before hugging left knee into chest. Right leg can be long or right knee can be bent. Sometimes low back prefers that. Begin with a half wind relieving, a squeeze of thigh to abdomen. And let this begin to morph into slow, small circles or wags. And can you use more the strength and power of the arms to swirl the hip socket, to swirl the top of the femur in the ball, in the socket part of the joint. So the ball and socket joint, using your arms not your hip flexors, not the muscles of the legs. Bringing ease to the hip joint with the strength of the arms. Going both directions. Feeling the body from the inside out. Making your way towards your half lying tree pose. Left foot somewhere along the right inner thigh. Knee opens, thigh opens, hip opens. Right leg gently alive, option to reach arms overhead. Keep a gentle heaviness in the low back. So you might notice if the arms go overhead, the low back wants to lift up. You can let it lift, but resist it down just a tad so you can maintain length. Watching and feeling left knee open, left hip open. Breathing in. And breathing out, let hands come back down by your sides. If they were overhead, lengthen both legs. Circle through the ankles, do a little wiggle of the hip. So left heel presses forward and then right heel presses forward. So it's like a little scissoring action. And then notice one leg getting shorter, one leg getting longer as the heels press forward one at a time. Let that little movement come to a stillness for a moment. Can you take just 10 seconds in a mini immediate Shavasana? Let everything go, everything go. Corpse pose, nothing to do. The gift of letting go. The gift of allowing. Breathe in. As you breathe out, roll onto your right side. If that takes you away from your screen, you might have to, you could trust yourself to just use the words to guide you, or you can turn your body around so that when you're lying on your right side, you can still see if you want to see. Propping yourself up on your right elbow, on your right side. You could also lower yourself down and hold your head up with your hand, resting the elbow on the earth. So see what feels right. Elbow and forearm on the earth, or just elbow holding the head. Hug the left knee into the chest. So it's like a side lying, half wind relieving. Hug the left knee and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. As you inhale, reach the left leg up to the sky. Hold the back of the leg anywhere where you can reach it easily. Opening the leg up, breathing in. Bend the left knee, hold the ankle behind you, bow open, like a little side-lying dancer, hips forward. And then exhale, hug knee into chest again, squeeze in. Lift leg to sky, straighten. Bend knee, hold ankle, kick back. And we'll do this little flow 2 more times. Hug knee in towards chest, squeeze. Lift leg up to sky, lengthen. Bend knee, hold ankle, bow open. 1 more time. Let both legs go long. Stack the legs on top of each other. Reach the right arm long and let the side of the head rest on your arm. So you're in a side lying shape, body is long. Notice if there's a curling in for support and balance. Yes, that will do that. But can you for a moment use your muscular strength? The more you straighten out the body, the more muscles you're going to need to keep yourself upright and from rolling onto your back. Option to reach the left arm overhead and let the palms touch overhead. Flex through the feet. Feel the palms press gently. Soften the left shoulder. Stretch long inside line. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, roll yourself onto your belly. Take the forearms underneath you. So forearms under shoulders. Arms reaching forward. Elbows pull towards hips, hips pull towards elbows. Sphinx pose. No compression in the low back, long in the spine. You might be facing a different direction than you started. That's okay. Gaze over your left shoulder, bend your right knee. Pause here. Breathe in. And breathe out, come back to center, gaze over right shoulder, bend left knee. Lower the shin, bring the head back to center, press the forearms down to lift up just a tad bit more. And then take elbows wide, hands come under shoulders, press yourself up to table, slide hips back to heels. And take a moment in child's pose of your choice. Hands can be forward or back. You might want to add in a side stretch if that feels nice, walking hands to right and left. What's it like to breathe in this little seed? And then make your way onto side lying on your left side. You might want to turn around to see the screen. You might just trust. Left elbow's on the earth, and it's either also forearm on the earth or you're holding your head and neck up, finding length in side lying, comfort and ease. Hug the right knee into the chest, squeeze in. Inhale, lift right leg to the sky. Exhale, bend the right knee, grab the ankle bow, open heart and chest, and continue. Inhale, squeeze, knee to thigh, knee to chest. Inhale, right leg to sky. Slow motion, exhale, bend knee, grab ankle bow, open. Hug knee in. Lengthen to sky. Find your side lying reclined dancer variation, kicking back. One more time. And then lengthen both legs, stack the legs so you feel the insides of the feet, the big toe sides of the feet stacking one on top of another. Options to lengthen left arm out to the front of your space and let the left cheek and temple rest. Finding length. Option to reach the right arm overhead, palms touching. So left palm is up, right palm is down. What are the muscles that are engaging to keep you from rolling onto your back? As you lengthen, you feel all these little muscles, front body and back body, keeping you perched. Left hip pressing down. Breathing in. And breathing out, roll onto your belly on this side. See which way you're facing now on your mat. One more moment in Sphinx. Elbows pulled towards hips, hips pulled towards elbows. Option to bend both knees. Point the toes, let the head fall back. Option to press into the hands and lift the elbows. If a little more heart opener is welcome, a little more back bend. Breathing. Deciding when the shins lower, the pelvis lowers, the hands come under the shoulders, you lift yourself up to table. If you're facing a way you don't want to be facing, you can spin yourself around on all fours. Stacking yourself, shoulders over wrist, hips over knees. Tuck the toes under. Arch the back, look up. Exhale, round the back, hinge back towards child's pose, long arms. And we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, come forward, drop belly, flip tail, look up. Exhale, round the back and hinge back. One more time, forward, up with heart. Keeping toes tucked under, hips hinge back. Spread sitting bones. And then slide your hands back to your knees. Come up to kneeling for a moment. Arms rise. We're making our way slowly up. A lot of down on the earth in this practice. Bend the elbows, cactus the arms, press the hips and heart forward. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands come down under the shoulders. Drop the belly, flip the tail. Option to go back to child's pose as you were, or lift the knees and hips and find down dog. A bending of one knee and then the other. Head might shake yes and no. Breathe upside down. See upside down. As you inhale, ripple roll yourself forward to a gentle plank, knees up or down, your version of gentle, fingers spreading, shoulders spreading, belly engaged. Inhale. If the knees are lifted, lower the knees down. Keep the toes tucked under, slide the hips back to the heels. Slide the hands back to the knees, rise up to kneeling one more time, arms brighten to the sky. Bend elbows, cactus arms, hips and heart forward, gaze lifts. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands down under the shoulders, drop belly, flip tail. Lift hips, lift knees, downward dog, and right away walk the feet up to the hands. Coming into Uttanasana, the forward fold. Hands can find blocks, hands can find opposite elbows. If no more inversion or inversion at all isn't welcome, forearms come to thighs and you look forward. But if inversion is calling, head low and hips high. Shift the weight slightly forward to the toes to feel the sitting bones spread. So the sitting bones, the part of the pelvis, the ischial tuberosities, the little points at the very back and bottom of the pelvis. Can you feel a spread, a blossoming open of the very low back? Keep the left hand planted on something. So if you had elbows, find the left hand either on the block, the earth, or the left thigh. The left knee bends, the right arm twists open to the sky. Sweep the right arm all the way back, down, forward, and around. Take one more big sweeping open shoulder circle. Let the right hand find its way down to block, earth, or right thigh. Right knee bends, left arm reaches to the sky, and then sweep back behind you, down, forward, and around 2 times. Slow and steady. Both hands find blocks or earth to lift up halfway. They could also find shins. Half lift, long spine. Bend the knees, reach the arms out wide, and unhinge your way up to standing. Oh, it's been a while standing. Arms gather up to the sky, brighten the fingertips to the heavens. If your arms don't like this, they can go wider to V or can find their way to the hips. As feet are right underneath the hips in a version of Tadasana, the mountain pose. Either arms extended or arms by your sides. Shift the weight from the balls of the feet to the heels of the feet. Shifting the weight. And then find what feels like center, front and back, center, left and right. Brighten fingertips to the sky. If the arms are lifted, you might notice the arms getting just a little tired. And then float the arms down, spreading fingers as you lower. Hand to heart, hand to belly. Eyes soft or closed. Present in standing. Feeling body from the inside out. Feet below you. Space around you. Space within you. Fill that space with a breath in. Keep the space as you release the breath out. Let hands come by your sides and begin to shift the weight from the right foot to the left foot. You might, since we've been playing a little bit with the pelvis today, you might notice what's happening in the pelvis as you shift the weight. It's very subtle, but can you feel a release on one side and a heavying into the other as you go side to side? And then next time your weight is over to your right foot, pause there, get light on the left heel, open the knee to the side and slide the sole of the foot to the right inner ankle, setting up in sapling pose. We're going to move into balance with tree, Vrikshasana. You could go over to a furniture or a wall. Bring palms together. So beginning, we're going to eke our way into this balance. Left toes are on the earth. Left heel is somewhere on the right inner leg. A little bend in the right knee, spreading the sole of the foot, planting your roots, growing, spreading your roots. Gaze at something not moving as you, using your own body strength, begin to slide the left leg up the inner right leg. See how high and far you can go with your own strength. And then when it's your time to, you can reach down and grab the foot and plant your tree. You could also stay in sapling with the toes on the earth. And you can let the arms express. Take a few moments and play. Embrace the wobble. Steady the breath. Keep the gaze down at something not moving. Wobble is the best part of balance. It's true. It's true. Notice if the mind is telling you some story. If you wobble, if you fall out. Let the story go. Be with what is. Take a breath in. And if the arms are lifted, slowly lower them down. Slowly let the left foot land under the hip. And take a moment to feel the echo. The right foot, the left foot, the right thigh, the left thigh. 2 feet on the earth. Breathing in. Breathing out, shift weight, right foot, left foot. Maybe this time let the head or neck sway a little bit or circle. Let weight shift to left foot. Get long in left leg, light in right heel. Open the knee, slide the heel to the ankle. So the right toes are perching on the earth to begin. Hands can find the heart. Sitting up tall in the spine. Soft in the gaze. Smooth in the breath. You can stay here, or you could slowly slide the foot up using the right quad strength as long as you feel like it's fun before planting your tree with your hand and letting arms find expression, letting, allowing. There's no right or wrong. This isn't a moral or ethical experiment. It's an energy experience. Spreading through the sole of the left foot. A little bend in the left knee. Feel the wobble come from down below. Let the ankle joint do the wobble. It's closer to the earth, back into 11th grade physics. It's more stable. Let wobble come from ankle. Soften shoulders. When you're ready, slowly release, slowly with grace and control and as much precision as you can find. Let both feet land underneath the hips, hand to heart, hand to belly, maybe the opposite way if you want. Like if the right hand wants to find heart and left belly, maybe try the opposite. See what that's like. Feel your legs. Feel your breath. Fill yourself with a breath in. Release the breath out. Let hands float down. Take your feet wider, hips width, mats width, maybe even wider. You choose how wide you want to go. As hands come to the hips and you begin to circle the hips. Maybe some snaps, crackles, and pops. I know I'm getting some here. Let the torso play with this. So you reach the head and crown all the way forward to one side, back, and to the other side. And then reverse direction to the opposite way. See if the knees are straight or are the knees bending. As you begin to circle yourself back up tall. And take the heels in, toes out, arms out to the sides like wings, letting this become into an empty coat sleeves twist. Hand to opposite shoulder, back arm to the low back as you go side to side with ease. Option to fit the breath into this movement in your own rhythm and pattern. There's no right way. Just see how the breath fits in. Maybe a ha breath, a hara breath, an HA exhale, a little energizing. Ha, 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 ha. Do you want to speed up for these last few rounds? Ha, 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 ha. And then the invitation from the mind to the body is to find stillness, a slow letting go, slow, not abrupt. You feel the echo of motion, the aliveness, the tingle. The heartbeat a little faster, the breath beat a little faster. Breathing in. With the heel still in, toes out. One last little experiment in standing. Bend the elbows, spread the fingers, bend the knees, a gentle squat. Straighten legs, straighten arms, brighten up, 5-pointed star. Bend knees, bend elbows. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. One more time, exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Let the hands find the thighs. Drop right shoulder. Look over left shoulder. Add in a little mini twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist other side. Inhale, center. Straighten legs, straighten arms to the sky. Twinkle fingers and toes. If you practice with me, you know I love to twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle, twinkle. Let hands float down, either hop or heel toe the feet back underneath the hips. If you need to take a quarter turn to be at the front of your space, you can do that if you're not already there. Inhaling, arms reach out and up. Big, bright breath in. Soft bend in knees. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Forward fold. Release the head, lift the hips. Inhale, half lift, flat back, gaze forward, long spine. Exhale, bend knees, plant hands, drop one knee, drop the other knee, coming onto all fours, wag the hips or circle. Cross the ankles behind you. Come to sit between your ankles. Take a little scooch to the middle of your mat if you're not already there. Keep the right knee bent. Lengthen the left leg long. Take the left hand to the right knee, the right hand behind you. So you're in a gentle twist. The left leg is long, right knee bent, gaze over right shoulder. Option to stay just like this. Option, if it's fun, slide the hand down the outer right leg. So you reach for the ankle or the pinky toe side of the foot and lengthen the right leg into the sky. So the right hand is back behind you like a little kickstand. The left leg is long on the earth. The right leg is long in the sky. And you're twisting. Soft left shoulder. Long through neck. Come back to center. If you have the leg in the sky, bend the knee again, bring the sole of the foot down. Spin everything back to center. Lengthen both legs. Give the legs a little shake. Circle the ankles. Sit tall. And then bend left knee. Right hand comes to the knee. Left hand behind you like a little kickstand. And twist. Slight tuck of chin to chest, long through back of neck. Option to stay here or slide the hand down the leg to the ankle or the sole of the pinky toe side of the foot as the leg lifts up to the sky. You still sit tall, even though there's a little hinge back. If the leg is in the sky, release it down, spin the torso to center, bend both knees, hands behind you, hook the right ankle on top of the left thigh in a seated figure 4 hip opener. Flex through right foot, let body do a little wag, side to side. Release the foot back down and then bend the left knee, hook the left ankle on the right thigh. Flex through left foot. Is the jaw doing something? The jaw doesn't need to do anything here. Thanks, jaw, but this is about the hip. Thanks, eye sockets. Thanks, forehead. But you can rest. And then bring the soles of both feet on the earth, knees wide, sitting up in a Baddha Konasana, bound angle variation. Feet can be any distance from the hips out to in front of you, more like a diamond shape. Hands can find anywhere from knees to ankles. Option to just sit up tall here, opening through the inner thighs, or option to hinge and fold if body wants that. Releasing through the pelvic floor. Notice if there's gripping. And as you breathe here, once again, as you inhale, can you feel the diaphragm lower, the pelvic floor soften and lower? Like a piston with an exhale, there's a little lift up of the diaphragm, a lift up of the pelvic floor, expelling the air out. One more time. Inhale, soften and release down. Exhale, lift up, press air out. If you had the hinge of the hips and you're still down, rise yourself up and check in with your body. What else does it want or need? Is it ready to find a robust few minutes of breath and stillness, whether that's a seated meditation or a lying down shavasana? Are there any other stretches or wiggles the body wants? Is this your cue to be like, peace out, don't need this time, bye-bye? And if you still do have the 5 more minutes, what would it be like to actually gift yourself stillness and rest? So whether you're still moving, whether you're already there or pretty close to setting yourself up in a place of stillness, notice what would serve you, what props below you or above you, whether it's socks or a sweater or a blanket. Doesn't take long, it doesn't take much, but a few minutes of stillness can be profound. A few minutes of stillness. When you found your body's chosen shape, signal an arriving and a releasing of any remaining tension with a clearing breath in through the nose. And a releasing breath, maybe out through mouth with a sigh or a sound. Body being held, nothing to do. Skin on body soft, all the skin, the largest organ of the body, this subtle boundary that contains the vastness inside. All the muscles releasing. The breath flowing with ease. The mind flowing with ease. Thoughts might come and go. Let them come and go. And heart is open to receive this precious moment of stillness and being, not doing. What's worth remembering about this mini experiment of stillness, of release? What's worth remembering about this hour you've gifted yourself to open the lines of energy within, to awaken the prana, the life force within? Yes, to nourish the joints and the muscles, to stretch, to strengthen, to connect. Do you feel more alive? Do you feel the rivers of prana running through you? If you have and want more time in your rest and your integration, you're welcome to stay as long as you'd like. And if you know it's time for the flow of your day to travel on, if you're lying down with ease, let yourself find a comfortable seat. If you're already in a comfortable seat, stay there. If you're near your screen and want to put your video on and or put it to gallery view to see the faces or names of all of us in practice together. And if you're on the recording, can you in a energetic way connect into all of us in this practice together throughout time and space? And for the last moment, if you'd like to find Adara Mudra, hands at the heart, palms pressed together, fingers reach forward, thumbs unfurl, fingertips and wrists stay connected, open to receive, open to receive the gift of practice, the gift of community, the gift of presence, the gift of this breath in And breath out. Eyes fluttering open in a more conscious way, taking on your surroundings, one another, wishing each other peace, blessings, ease, safety, happiness, health, all the things. For ourselves, for one another, for all creatures, all beings. Thanks for practice. Happy Friday. Many blessings. Be well.